So the year in review, and we're hosting this morning the importers and exporters. We're hearing from their representatives on how the year has been for their businesses. Joining me in the studio, the man helming the Importers and Exporters Association. I'm talking about none other than Samson Asaki Awingobit. He joins the conversation. Good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
All right. We also have Guta joining the conversation, the Ghana Union of Traders Association. I'll be getting their representative on the conversation shortly. But let me start with you, Samson. When it comes to the importers and exporters, what has 2024 been like so far?
Well, a very good morning to yourself. It's been a long time.
It has. You've not been looking for your brother.
No, but I think we've been talking via Zoom mostly because of digitalization. Is that not it?
Well, we have.
And so good morning to cherished viewers and my very good senior brother, Dr. Joseph Obeng. I'm told he will be joining us. I'm sure he's monitoring by now.
Dr. Obeng, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, all right.
Online, okay.
Now I'm sure I have you on the conversation. Dr. Joseph Obeng, of course, he is also helming Guta. Good to have you. Yes, back to you, Samson.
Yeah. So I strongly believe that 2024 was a very terrible year, has been terrible to business community because of where the city gotten us to. And a lot of business people have lost their capital, inflation, and then $1 was hovering between 16, 17, and that has been a challenge to the business community. Of course, you know about the taxes. I heard your producer talking about taxes. You know that it was one of the areas that we, the business community, has been hammering. In fact, the 2024 budget that was presented in November 2023, we were thinking that there would have been some reduction of taxes, but we rather saw an increase of taxes. VAT is now 15% at the port because there was added 1.2 or so to it. COVID levy, which we think that COVID should have gone off, yet COVID was also brought in, and a whole lot. And then, of course, upfront tax at the port, VAT upfront tax, which is 2.5 or so, is at the port. Of course, when the city started misbehaving, then customs, of course, every week customs will have to increase or adjust their system in calculating the duty. And that's why, you see, I was happy this morning. I met Kofi, one of your colleagues. He was crying that he brought some car and the duty alone was hovering around 100 and something. And they say, Asake, is that how you people are suffering? I said, it's good that you, as a media person, you brought in a car and you're feeling the heat. So when you come to sit on TV and we are talking about business community are really, really going through hard times, you will now understand. You will not understand. So that has been the challenge that we have. In fact, the worst narrow in business transactions is when your currency has problems in terms of not being stabilized. The stability of the city is very key to us. And so any government that is unable to work to control the city from further depreciating and from further misbehaving with the dollar, then of course, business people are looking very well. And I can tell you that one of the cardinal points that really make people could not even import. There are many people who have not been able to import the whole year. It's as a result of the...
That is members of your group who have not been able to import the whole year.
And I think that if you go to the market today, they will tell you that, market women will tell you that they have challenges. Goods is getting shortage. Because I remember vividly around the month of October, September, October, I tried to speak to some business people and they said, look, Mr. Saki, I'm not going to import. I'm going to wait till election, after election before. So all those people, because normally between that period, that is why we then order for Christmas goods. Okay, so I can tell you, rice importers who told me that you used to bring like full load of soup, said, no, I'm not going to bring anything. The only thing I'll do is that I have already supplied my goods. I would rather go around, collect my debts, and then wait and fold my arms and wait and see what will happen.
So for you, 2024 has been a very bad year.
It has been a very, very challenging time. Turbulent times for business community, yes.
Hold for me there. let me bring in Dr. Joseph Obeng, who is head of GUTA. Doc, what would be your reflection on 2024 as far as businesses in your bracket are concerned, the Ghana Union of Traders Association?
Thank you very much. The issue confronting businesses for the past year, that's 2024, has been the depreciation of the cedi. That's the increasing rate of the foreign exchange. The major factor that influence and affect the key economic indicators, that's inflation, interest rate, and stability of the local currency, has been the forex exchange. Going back to the preceding years of 2022, we started the year with the exchange rate of 6.4 Ghana cedis and ended the year with 15.5 Ghana cedis, resulting to a depletion of capital of about, say, 52%. So the inflation also peaked to about 54%, and the interest rate also has gone up almost 40%. From the second quarter of 2023, the last quarter to the last quarter of the year, also saw some stability of the local currency that averaged around 12.5 Ghana cedis to the dollar. So it started going up somewhere in December through to 2024, where it peaked around 16.5 to 17 Ghana cedis, which also resulted with the depletion of capital of about further another 20%. Cost of doing business has generally been very high, as you already know. Duty payment has gone up the roof due to the fact that duty payment is benchmarked with the ever-increasing dollar rate. Payment has always been benchmarked with the ever-increasing forex rate. Increase in utilities also did not help at all. It led to the increase in cost of manufacturing and other costs of running our businesses. Cascading effects of the VAT, as Asaki was also saying, had also not helped at all. Cost of borrowing is still very high during this period. Freight charges has also gone up. All these factors affected the prices of goods and services in the market, even though inflation has dropped to 23%. This coupled with the fact that 2024 being an election year also slowed down businesses. That's our turnover got reduced drastically because of the prices, high prices of goods, and also the fact that we're in the election period. So essentially, this has been the plight of businesses during this time, because inflation is the pain, and the stability of the local currency has been the pain, and that's what businesses thrive on. And all these indicators were not right for
on TV.
business.
Join us, TV. Join us.
I see. Now, both of you have made mention of quite a number of things, from inflation to interest rates to the cedi and the lack of stability to VAT to a reduced turnover. Both of you are saying practically the same thing. But let me ask you, were there any positives in this year? Were there any positives in 2024 that you feel are worthy of note? For example, the cedi has appreciated a bit against other currencies. but some economists say this is not going to be stable. It's not going to remain for long. Were there any positives that we can celebrate that took place for business in 2024?
Okay, so inflation is a very serious problem when it comes to doing business, especially when the purchasing power of the Ghanaian is also not improving. And so I told you the inflation peaked to about 54% during the year of last quarter of 2022. Then it has been navigated by Bank of Ghana or whatever the strategy had been, and then it has reduced to about 23%. The monetary policy rate that has been all high also came to about 29%, also bringing down the interest rate. So if we look at these things, and then of course we can see, and then the latter part of the year also saw some semblance of stability in the local currency, even though it was not drastically down. And so these are some of the positive that I can say. But it is still on the higher side that you cannot say that they are serious positives. And that's why we need to do even more to bring these indicators further down, to help boost businesses in the country.
All right. Dr. Obeng, hold for me. So I just pushed Dr. Joseph Obeng to the wall that both of you have spoken about all the problems. How about any bright spots in the year? And he says, yes, there were a few things here and there. At least inflation came down and a few other things. But they were no serious positives that could make an impact. Is that your position as well?
Didn't actually reflect in people's pocket. Hence, the purchasing power of Ghanaians couldn't upgrade it. All this instability of the currency and the inflation that he's talked about, and the taxes that the government increases on us, we do not see the same thing replicating in increasing of salaries and allowances of Ghanaian workers.
Yes, but you know that
and
when
so
it comes to increments,
it becomes
especially public sector salaries.
Yes,
that is few and far between.
Yeah, so it become stagnant. People are still spending within what they were having for so many years, even though despite the fact that, as he said, the inflation has come down. The prime rate, the rate that the Bank of Ghana is using in order to make commercial banks increase their interest rate, is on somewhere 22 point something, right? Came down to 22.
I've not checked the latest figures.
Yet, when you go to the commercial banks, you will never see any reduction in their interest loans. If you go to Bank to borrow, at West, you will get
around 38,
29,
30% thereabouts.
You get it. So how will business people, how will you survive in this? How will you go? When our colleagues are South African and others are borrowing at 6%, at 10% per annum. So clearly,
in other words, you can't compare.
Yeah, so when we talk about success, maybe the only success I will say is that we had peace in Ghana. And business thrive on peace and stability. Is that not it? But if you have peace and the people packets are not good, you will suffer. So that is where we saw people saying that I can no longer import because my cost is more than what I'm gaining. Because if you are in business, we are in business to make profit, isn't it? But if consistently, month by month sales, you are making losses. You have friends. I saw you make an advert for some people. Go and ask them. They will tell you, month by month, consistently, they make loss of revenue because of that inflation is catching up with them. So where is the success? Where is the brightest time that you want me to sit here and say, oh, yes, it's true, Mr. Kwako, we really make profit? We haven't made profit. We made losses. And that is why people are winding up. And that's why people are even relocating. Many companies have relocated to Africa, our neighboring country here, because their economy is doing extremely very well. And we are not. Even introducing COVID levy, still we could not sustain. So I can tell you, I didn't see the bright things that you want me to talk. Then I'll tell you that it's the peace, stability, political peace. Even though election 2024 was crucial, people were talking about do and die affair. At the end of the day, Ghanaians said nobody blood was there. So we don't want any do and die affair. We vote. We want to post.
Some people lost their lives, unfortunately.
Yes, but as compared to what happens in previous election, I don't think the temperature is the same. So that is the only thing. So maybe when the new government comes in with their policies of trying to abolish taxes and other things, then business can pick it up from there.
We'll get there shortly.
Yes.
That's the next step. But let me just get personal with both of you. Both of you head institutions that deal in a lot of trade, commerce, right? I'll start with you. Personally, you are also an importer, exporter. What was your personal experience? Did you run into losses in 2024? No one does business unless it's maybe an NGO that simply wants to break even.
I have just told you. You asked.
No. I'm asking you as an. I'm not asking. Initially, you started speaking for the importers and exporters.
So
you said some could not even do this and that. And I'm asking, did you, as Samson Asaki Awengobet, did you incur losses in 2024?
There is no, you don't single me as a person. I'm just telling you the general assessment of the economy so far as 2024 was concerned in business community, which I'm part. And I just tell you that there have been losses. Nobody make profits. And I just told you that if I'm even using the word 40% man by man revenue. When I say man by man, I'm talking about sales. Sales that we do in monthly basis. The strength of it has dropped. The percentage that it has dropped, that's what I'm telling you. And I'm telling you it's as a result of why? We do business on people who patronize the product, is that not it? And then I'm telling you that the purchasing power of Ghanaians really went down. Unless you tell me that your purchasing power has been very...
You can also have in the same pool, just as we saw under COVID, a lot of people increased their wealth by billions in the US and other places. On the back of COVID, the same thing that destroyed some businesses made some people become ultra wealthy.
Yes.
So even as you talk about the general situation, it could be that for Samson Asaki Awengobet, for some reason, you did well in business. Is that not possible?
Whilst we are dealing with the dollar, CD to the dollar.
Okay, so your simple answer is
dollar to the CD.
You did not do well in terms of business.
Exactly.
Let me come to Dr. Obeng. If I'm to get surgical with you personally, on a personal basis, how was 2024 for you personally in terms of business?
Yeah. So what I realized was that my stocks, that's at my warehouse, keep depleting. Even though my capital in terms of CDs was the same, it hasn't reduced. But then the stock itself was not improving like before. You know, the reason why my stocks were depleting was that I was not able to bring the same volumes of goods that I used to bring. Because so let's say, for instance, the dollar was somewhere 12 in 2023 October. It means that if I need $100,000, I have to go for 1.2 million Ghana cedis for $100,000. When the dollar peaked at 17, and somewhere October 2024, it means that I have to go and fund a top-up of about 500,000 Ghana cedis to be able to get the same $100,000. If I'm unable to get that, it means that this time around, the goods that I use $100,000 to buy, I cannot buy the same quantity of goods. And so I haven't used my money to do any bad thing, but yet I'm not able to bring the same quantities that I used to bring, and thereby depleting my stocks.
So
and
depleted stocks, did that also, of course, that would lead to depleted profits as well, right?
Yes, definitely. Definitely, because if you bring more, then you sell, then you get more. If you bring little, I mean, it commensurates with the quantities that we bring. And so definitely, and that's why we said that the exchange rate is something that no business person like it, because when the cedi depreciates, it means that you are suffering depreciation of your capital, your stocks, your fiscal capital, and all that. The cedi volume, the cedi that you'll be holding will be the same capital that you have. In terms of cedis, it will be the same. But in terms of real capital, because we do not use a cedi to transact internationally. So in that case, your capital actually depletes. Yeah.
I see. Let's now get into what your expectations are of the incoming administration. I don't know whether you still have any expectations between now and January the 6th. I don't know. If you do, you can mention them. But when the incoming administration comes through, what then would be your expectations in terms of what must be done? For example, a flat rate of VAT, for example, the cedi and stabilizing it. What are your expectations for the incoming administration to make business people feel better and do better?
You see, if you look at the results of this year's election, people have actually voted on basis of the economy, high cost of doing business, the prices in the market, and all that. So it is obvious that the new administration should recognize that they do everything to bring down the cost of doing business in this country. That will also trickle down the lessening the prices of goods and services in the market. I think this one, nobody will have to tell anybody. This is the first thing that we have to be thinking about. And if we will be able to achieve that, it means that we have to do everything to stabilize the local currency. That's what drives the other indicators of the economy. If the currency, there's instability of the cedi, it depreciates and all that, the exchange rate goes up, it throws everything out of proportion. It sends inflation high, interest rates also go up, and then these are the areas that also make businesses thrive. And so we have to do everything, because if you say the private sector is the engine of growth, for which our incoming president have been dwelling on, he said that he's going to concentrate on businesses as a way to generate employment and all that. It means that if we are an engine of growth, then we have to put the necessary lubricants in this engine. And these are some of the things. Then also, we have to streamline the taxes, our tax system. I mean, we need to streamline it. Our tax system is so complex, and there are so many, and then the amount is, the rate of taxes are very high, and it does not help. We have to streamline to make it more simplified and more affordable.
So let me ask you. Let me ask you on the taxes very briefly. Are you in agreement for the COVID-19 levy, e-levy, betting tax? Are you in agreement for them to go?
But you have been interviewed me so many times, and we're saying that.
What is your current position?
And once COVID was no more, we don't need it on the table.
So one down.
Even if we're saying about the special import levy. There were so many of these taxes that we deemed as nuisance taxes, and that need to be off the table, seriously.
Okay.
So those things that have been promised by the incoming administration should be looked at. Even though I'll also be quick to say that our expectations should be measured in a way so that we do not also stampede the new government from making any mistakes. So about all this, we have to do constant stakeholder engagement so that people will understand the issues, and then we'll also help the government to achieve its goals and aspirations for the generation of Ghanaians. So it's very important that we do this. A stakeholder engagement at this time is very important.
Okay.
Should not be the same way that few technocrats will go and plan some policy and then come and impose on the generality of the bigger stakeholders. That has not helped us in the past, and it will also not help us going forward. So we have to do everything together. The government should look at the huge goodwill that is enjoying now as a way of support, massive support that we are giving to the government, the new government, to be emboldened to take prudent decisions for us, or for us to have the respite that we need, especially to grow our businesses and also for the generality of the Ghanaian.
A quick one on the VAT regime. Do you think anything should happen there?
Yeah, VAT should be flat rated and it should be simplified. If you have been following Buta, you have always been saying that we needed the flat rate system that will make our business, if not anything, if it is even being done with the standard rate, then we should be clear that the taxes should be so simplified and be made affordable so that compliance will become very high. The key to revenue enhancement is nothing else than compliance. So if you do not do anything to ensure compliance, then you are not helping at all. Okay. And that's why the fixed tax system that is being proposed by the new administration is also very welcome. And for me, this is a game changer. I've been using this game changer around the flat tax system and then the fixed tax system all this time. Because I think that if we make the duty payment very fixed, like is being proposed for the spare parts business and all that, and if it is only going to be also extended to the other product lines and all that, it's going to help us. Okay. So that your duty payment will be in the know in advance, and then when the goods come, you just pay, and the post-clearance things and all that will be the thing of the past. These are very important, and also I'm expecting that we give us the tax amnesty that we so need, so that we can also start afresh. The wrongdoings being forgiven, because there's nowhere that businesses as it's structured here in this part of the world, you can do everything perfectly. And so there might be some wrongs. So if you all want to start well, then our past should be forgiven, and then we start very much afresh, where everybody will be cautioned to do the right thing. And then government will have its worth of revenue. Businesses will also thrive, because we do not have to overprice due to the produce of our industries, due to excessive taxation. That's why people say that we have to move away from taxation to production. And it should make a lot of sense and meaning that we should understand that we do not have to overprice us out of production. Because you produce and you have to sell, and the produce have to be competitive so that you can offload your produce to the neighboring countries and elsewhere.
Of course, the more you rake in, of course, even if the rates are low, the state will still benefit and derive the revenue it needs to develop.
Exactly.
But let me come to Mr. Awingo a bit. Your counterpart on the other end has spoken about tax amnesties. He's spoken about the flat rate VAT. He's spoken about proper engagement with organizations like yours to ensure that proper policy frameworks are brought to bear to make businesses not just survive, but thrive. Your expectations of the incoming administration would be what exactly?
Well, just to alert my senior comrade, I think the incoming government, the NDC, in their manifesto, did not promise tax amnesty. it was the New Patriotic Party. It was Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia who promised, and also the flat rate that he said he was going to bring. But I think
but do you think
I will agree with Dr. Obeng that we can appeal this to the new incoming government, that things that Bawumia said, some of the things were very good. If they can adopt it and then use it, it will help. Because
so which ones do you agree with? The tax amnesty?
Tax amnesty, yes.
Okay. So let's all have a clean sheet.
Exactly.
Start afresh.
Exactly. Then also, the way of filing of taxes now is too cumbersome. They need to streamline that thing as well for us. I think I agree with Dr. Obeng on that score. The VAT system, the 15% is on the high. In sub-Sahara here, we are the highest. We are not just paying the VAT. Sometimes you pay the VAT and you pay net VAT. I don't understand what is called net VAT and others. So I think that they have to look at it. The COVID levy is important. That I think John Mahama even said in his 120 days, the COVID levy would go, the mobile money e-levy would go, and of course, you know, importers pay so much duties and taxes using transactions through the e-levy, the mobile money platform. So it's really affecting them. So I think it's going to help. The betting tax, of course, he also promised. I think what I didn't see there was the 2% special import levy tax that Dr. Obeng just talked about. And I think that they should also look at it as well for the business.
Which 2%?
Yes, there's a. When the MPP came in 2017, there was a budget that abolished 1% special import levy. And the special import levy were 1% and then 2%. The 2% was still running. So it was supposed to go off in 2017.
So the 1% was taken off, but the 2% was retained.
Yes, and that 1% is the e-levy, the COVID levy that was brought in again. Okay, so that is it. I think this week I also make a proposal to the. I was appealing to the president-elect that if he comes to office, this norm of my party has come, and we are appointing ambassadors, and ambassadors think that it is a reward to them because their party has come to government, and that they will just go and come back without bringing anything. Where I sit, where Dr. Obeng sit, the different countries' ambassadors, the France ambassadors, the German ambassador to Ghana, the American ambassador, they knock our doors. Why? They come to, sometimes, a department called Poultry in America, Poultry department, will come to Ghana and ask me that Ghana is importing so much frozen chicken. So which country did they go? They also have good quality and premium chicken. So I should advise our people to come there and then pick it from them. So they bring their producers to get buyers from Ghana, link them up. What it means is that we cannot just appoint ambassadors to just go and be serving, but we should also give them target to say, look, the country in which you are going to represent the president, the treat Atagay, you have this target to bring back to the country. What it means is that let's identify what that country needs from Ghana. If it is pepper, if it is our yam, if it is our basket weavers in Bolga, it is about tie and dye batik. Then you also look into Ghana here through the traders unions. We can tell, okay, if this community, this is this region, this is a district, or this is where you can get them. The group are here. Then you can encourage them to produce more because you are going to link them to buyers there who will also come to buy from us. You get it. Right. That is where we can bring, so that we can emphasize more on non-traditional commodity export. What Ghana will always, when we see the export, mostly it is the yam, it is the cocoa, it's the gold, magazine, and bauxite. But we are not doing so much concentrating to say, look, we must this year, we want more pepper to go out of the country, we want more okra, so that those people can grow. The 24-hour economy, that is the area that we can look at and can expand and can tap into it. Okay, so that if you make your ambassador know that, look, when you go to China, you're ambassador to Ghana from Ghana, please make sure that we find out what Chinese need from Ghana. It is shea butter. Let us come back and link the shea butter producers to those companies. That is the way to go. So that more forex will come, and this city depreciation will no longer be there. It's because you are not earning more forex, export forex. That is why we are having there's pressure on the little reserve that we have at the Bank of Ghana.
In other words, we shouldn't have diplomats diplomats merely for the sake of being
Yes, but if I'm being rewarded, no.
But they must go there and seek Ghana's economic interests,
Exactly.
commercial interests. I mean, there are other things they do.
Yes, I know.
Prominent
bilateral and other things, yes.
Is this bit.
Yes, but what I see, if they tell the American ambassador will want to lock our doors because they want to link, we should tell them our buyers to link with their producers there.
So the
why can't we look at their
chambers of
look at their GDP there? Huge, is that not it?
Yeah.
But they still look every day. They still knock our doors. Okay. The other aspect is give proper utility package to the manufacturers, the AGI and their members, to produce more quality with cheaper. Then we can distribute. If there's surplus, we can also export to our neighboring country. That's where after Africa Continental Free Trade can also boom. Okay, that's the way. Then of course, yes, we think that the current government or the incoming government has promised Ghanaians a lot, and Ghanaians also went and give them that resounding victory. I do not think that if Ghanaians are asking for their cake of the national share, it will be too much. Yes, I agree, but I think the president even promised that he would like to do more consultations, more engagement, public fora, so that together we can all prepare and see the way forward to move. That is the way to go. His manifesto alone was a sign of engagement. They came to us, they went to Guta, they went to other AGI and others, they met with them before they bring the proposal. We know all about it, we know what is in the manifesto, the NDC manifesto. So together, we can all push that 24 economy to make sure that we grow Ghana steadily. That's the way to go. And that is where the inflation can fall flat. That is where interest rate can come down. That is where prime rate can come down. These are the indicators that can bring these things. And so I can tell you, in as much as we want to import, we want to export more.
Right.
So that we can bring more forex back to cushion our city and protect our city from further depreciation from where it is. As we speak, we have 14, sometimes 15. It's been fluctuating. It's because of the pressure. And it's because if government doesn't get cocoa syndicated loan to come, and Bank of Ghana will say, I'm pushing $400 million or $4 million into the market every 2 weeks, or
then the pressure remains.
Then the pressure comes.
Right. Let me also bring in Mark Boadu Abuaje. He is CEO of the Ghana Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the GNCCI. Mark, good morning.
Hey, how are you doing?
I am well. Oh, how about you?
By God's grace.
We thank the Lord.
Well.
What has the year been like? I mean, helming the Chamber of Commerce and Industry. I know things have been rough, but what picture would you paint for us in terms of how 2024 has treated your businesses?
I think 2024, the recovery that we were expecting from late 2023 was quite slow for us. I mean, if you look at the indicators that we were expecting that at least it would trend downwards to create the right environment for businesses, we didn't actually experience that. And I guess it has been said by others. All the indicators, with the exception of inflation that we saw trending downwards to 20 and then came back to 23, even within that, food inflation went up. Interest rates was relatively high. The taxes, nothing really changed about the taxes, something that we have said over and over again. Nothing changed. And then the city depreciation also worsened along the line, and to the latter part of the year that Bank of Ghana pumped a lot of dollars into the system, that we saw some stability, which for us, it doesn't look like going to be sustained into the long run. So all these indicators worked actually against the businesses. The performance was not as expected. It was a bit harsh, but we are hopeful that in the years to come, things will improve. I mean, if you look at the numbers from our members in the third quarter, it wasn't too good, but it's better actually than what we experienced in 2022 and 2023. So comparatively, actually with 2022 and 2023, it's quite okay. We saw some little bit of improvement. There was also a high level of certainty actually following the completion of the restructuring, certainty and also confidence also returned into the economy. So 2024 actually wasn't as expected, but it was better than 2023 and 2022.
Very briefly, in about 30 seconds, if I asked you, what are your expectations of the incoming administration? What can they do to help commerce, business in Ghana? What would you say? Very briefly.
Well, we are expecting that they create the right environment for businesses. And then the indicators that we are expecting that they should improve is for interest rates to come down.
Okay.
At the current level, no business can borrow at the rate and expect that they'll make profit. It is for that reason that even the non-performing loans are also going up. If you look at the numbers from the banks.
Right.
Also, I think they should also overhaul the tax system and the tax administration. The tax is so complex, they are so confusing, the rates are so high, compliance is so low, that it creates a lot of problems for businesses. I will specifically look out for an overhaul of our VAT system. Nowhere in this world that you see a standard VAT system being added to a levy that you cannot deduct or take as input VAT from some of the total VAT. So our normal VAT, standard VAT system is 15%. They have close to 6% of levy, which becomes a direct cost to businesses. I'm expecting that they have a VAT system that businesses can also claim for input VAT. The levies are also too many and too high.
Okay.
So I expect that they also, of course, the depreciation of the cedi. In most of these issues that we are facing, the root cause is that the cedi is depreciating and it affects almost everything.
Okay.
So we have to try as much as possible to stabilize the cedi and, if possible, also improve its performance. And that will require that we have to do a lot of support to businesses. Most of the things that we are importing, I believe we can produce them here. So we don't need to take the hard dollar to go and import toilet roll. 2023, we spent $100 million on toilet roll. 2023, we spent $600 million on importation of flour. Olam Agri and 4 other companies, given the support, can produce flour that can meet the demand of Ghana and also export.
Mark,
they are suffering.
Right. We have to go, but thank you very much for joining the conversation. That is Mark Boadu, CEO of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. I'd like to thank my friend in the studio who joined the conversation, Samson Asaki Awingobit of the Importers and Exporters Association, and my other friend, whom I saw recently at church, Dr. Joseph Obeng, head of GUTA. Yadamwase. Thank you so much for joining the conversation.
Thank you.
All right. And this is how we take a breather here. We'll be back with more action on the AM show. Do stay with us.